Quite a week and a half for 7-year veteran wide receiver Donte Stallworth. Super Bowl Sunday, Commissioner Roger Goodell reinstated him. The next day, the Browns released him. He then worked out for the Lions last Thursday, and then on Wednesday, the Baltimore Ravens signed him. Stallworth was suspended for the 2009 season after he pleaded guilty to DUI manslaughter. He then served a 30-day jail sentence. He was the first pick of the Saints in 2002. He has since played for the Eagles, the Patriots, and the Browns. Now, this is an offense built around the talents of Ray Rice, but Joe Flacco, Cam Cameron, John Harbaugh will welcome more talent at wide receiver. For more on the Ravens signing of Donte Stallworth, we say hello to Jason La Canfora. This team certainly needs an upgrade at wideout, Jason. Where does Stallworth fit in?
Well, he's part of the equation for sure, Paul, but he's not it. I mean, you talk to people in that organization, they need multiple wide receivers. They know that. It's a primary offseason concern for them. Getting Stallworth 1 year, $900,000, that's a nice move. And maybe that means a guy like Kelly Washington, who they had interest in bringing back, doesn't come back. But I know they'd like to bring Derek Mason back for another year. But they need a truly dynamic fulcrum in that offense. I continue to expect them to be interested in Anquan Boldin and Brandon Marshall, players of that stature in the trade/restricted free agent market, because unrestricted free agency just doesn't hold much in terms of wide receiver value.
He is a Raven. Wide receiver questions answered?
No, I mean, as Jason said, I mean, he's not the answer, but it is a nice pickup. I mean, I think it's a low-risk move. He could probably fit into some special teams. They got him early so they can get him into some off-season workouts to see what type of shape he's in, or to get him in shape if they feel he's going to be an integral part. But, Jamie, he's somebody who can stretch the field. He had some hands. He made some good plays in Cleveland when he was there. He's had some up and downs during his career, but he's somebody who might emerge as a piece to that receiving puzzle.
Yeah, and I think the key here is that what he does is he gives them the guy who can stretch the field. So that makes an Anquan Boldin / possibly Brandon Marshall equation more palatable, because think about it. I mean, you know, Marshall has good speed, not great blazing speed like Stallworth. So the problem that you saw when you looked at this Ravens team was they had problems finding guys who could stretch the field. Derek Mason did a great job of being kind of that possession receiver, but nobody stretched the field for him. And so Stallworth, I think, can at least give them that, a guy that's going to make the defense play all three levels of the segment.
Especially with Flacco with that big arm. They've got to let him cut it loose every now and then.
So knowing they still have needs at the wide receiver position, with the 25th pick in the draft, does that need at wide receiver trump the needs in the defensive backfield?
It just depends on how Ozzy's board works. I think Ozzy's going to stay true to his board. And the question becomes, if there's a receiver that is there based on the way he has players ranked, that's one thing. But again, I would not be surprised, because if you believe the reports that are out there, Anquan Boldin or, you know, possibly Brandon Marshall could be available for a 2, maybe a late 1 or something like that. You know, so I mean, if that is the case, I'd much rather throw a second-round pick, possibly for a guy we know is a Pro Bowl receiver in Boldin, than just basically going out there and winging it with somebody else.
And we know Baltimore was interested in that last year. I mean, Arizona really didn't show much of an interest to want to move Anquan Boldin, but now there could be some reasons as to why they want to go ahead and get him out there. So that could be a possibility.
The Ravens haven't used a first or a second-round pick on a wide receiver since they took Mark Clayton in the first back in 2005.